Now, the technology has played an important role, but what I will say is that in addition to all of the various technologies which are available to lawyers and which are being used by lawyers now in terms of drafting agreements and the whole gamut of legal activity, what I will say that judges themselves have been using the technology in equal pace with lawyers. And this is a very, in my view, a very good development. The judiciary continues to struggle with protecting the use of social media by lawyers, the media, and the public inside the courtroom. And some jurisdictions now allow use of electronic devices to take cases and to take case notes. Other lawyers are allowed to send and receive texts, and that is acceptable in many of those jurisdictions. There's a recent Canadian decision of New Brunswick where live tweeting and blogging were allowed. On the other hand, the Quebec court has issued guidelines banning all emails, tweets, and text messages from the courtroom without the consent of the judge. And by way of support for social media and its use in the courtroom, the Canadian Centre for Court Technology has issued guidelines which embrace and enhance transparency and accountability by allowing electronic devices in the courtroom. Now, I say all this because if we go back to our Caribbean dream, we immediately go back to Sir Dennis. Because Sir Dennis, and I won't go into all of his background when he was appointed here and there, we all know that. But what we must remember is that it was as Chief Justice of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court that he engaged in that active judicial reform program and made it a matter of high priority. He introduced Judicial Education Institute, which became a committee of the Chief Justice's chambers. Full accountability. He's always prepared to do that. But it was that committee that produced a code of ethics for judges and organized a series of seminars and training programs providing orientation for judges, lawyers, and trial court registrars. This was a very important program, if you remember. It was an important program and it served as a prelude to the administration of practice and procedure in litigation, which was brought to fruition when he introduced the new Civil Procedure Rules of 2000. And these rules came into operation as 2000, December 31st, and that introduced case flow management to the civil process for the first time here in the Caribbean. With these reforms, Sir Dennis set up a threefold objective: the enhancement of public access to the court by simplifying procedures, the reduction of delays in litigation, and thirdly, the inculcation of a higher standard of professionalism at the bar. And this is the framework, this is the background to Sir Dennis's continuing not only interest, but his advocacy and his inspiration for the setting up of Apex and for why we are all here today.